7 seconds. Exactly 7 seconds. That's how long it took for Bruce Lee to silence the laughter and birth a legend. The Main Street Boxing Gym in Los Angeles, 1967. A Tuesday afternoon in August. The kind of heat that made the air shimmer above the asphalt outside and turned the gym into a furnace. 15 men inside. Heavyweights mostly. Boxers who measured power in pounds per square inch and victories in knockouts. And then Bruce Lee walked through the door. 5'7". 135 pounds. Wearing simple black training pants and a white t-shirt. No entourage. No announcement. Just a small Chinese man stepping into a space that belonged to giants. The laughter started immediately. Not cruel laughter at first. Just the reflexive amusement of men who had spent their lives in this world, who knew what a fighter looked like, who understood the mathematics of weight classes and reach advantages. They saw Bruce Lee and their brains made an instant calculation, novelty, not threat. "You lost, buddy?" Someone called from the heavy bag area. More laughter. Bruce didn't respond. He walked to the ring, placed his gym bag on the apron, and looked at the head trainer, a former middleweight named Mickey Chin who ran the place with iron discipline and a sharp eye for talent. "I'd like to demonstrate something," Bruce said. His voice was quiet, precise. No aggression. No pleading. Just a statement of intent. Mickey looked him up and down. "Demonstrate what?" "Control," Bruce said simply. The gym had gone quieter now. The heavy bags had stopped swinging. Jump ropes had stilled. 15 men were watching this exchange with the kind of interest you give to something that might become a story later. Mickey smiled. Not unkindly, but with the patience of someone who had seen 1,000 variations of this scene. "Son, this is a boxing gym. We don't do karate demonstrations here." "I'm not offering karate," Bruce said. "I'm offering a test. Your best man. Any rules you want." 7 seconds. The laughter erupted again. Louder this time. 7 seconds? This little guy was offering to do something. What exactly, in 7 seconds against their best fighter? 7 seconds to do what? Mickey asked. Bruce's expression didn't change. 7 seconds to prove that size doesn't determine the outcome. Precision does. But let's rewind. 3 weeks earlier, Bruce Lee had been on the set of The Green Hornet, playing Kato, the role that would make him recognizable but not yet famous. Between takes, he'd been approached by a stunt coordinator who moonlighted as a boxing coach at Main Street Gym. "I've seen your stuff," the coordinator had said. "Fast hands. Good footwork. But you ever been in a real ring? Against a real heavyweight?" Bruce had smiled politely. "Define real." "I mean a guy who can take your head off with one punch. A guy who outweighs you by 100 pounds. Different game when the other man can end it with one shot." The conversation had bothered Bruce more than he wanted to admit. Not because he doubted himself, but because he recognized the truth in it. He had trained in Wing Chun under Ip Man. He had developed Jeet Kune Do, his own philosophy of combat. He had fought in underground matches and private challenges. But always on his terms. Always in contexts where technique and speed were respected. But in a boxing gym? Where power was religion and weight was law. That was different territory. So he'd made a decision. He would go to Main Street Gym. He would face their best heavyweight. And he would prove, not through argument, not through demonstration, but through undeniable reality, that his way worked. Bruce didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. Back in the gym, Mickey Chin was still smiling. But there was something in Bruce's eyes, a stillness that made the older trainer pause. "You serious about this?" Mickey asked. "Completely." Mickey looked around the gym. His eyes settled on a massive figure in the corner, a heavyweight named Thomas, Big Tommy, Morrison. 6'2", 240 pounds. Hands like cinder blocks. He'd been training for about 2 weeks and was in peak condition. "Tommy," Mickey called. "Come here." Big Tommy walked over, wiping sweat from his face with a towel. He looked down at Bruce the way mountains look at hills. "This gentleman," Mickey said, gesturing to Bruce, "wants to demonstrate something. Says it'll take 7 seconds. Tommy's face split into a grin. 7 seconds to what? Run away? The gym erupted in laughter. Even Mickey chuckled. Bruce didn't smile. 7 seconds to make you understand that power without precision is just noise. The laughter died. Not completely, but enough. There was an edge in Bruce's voice now, not anger, but certainty. The kind of certainty that made men pause. Tommy's grin faded slightly. You challenging me? I'm offering you a lesson, Bruce said. Free of charge. Tommy looked at Mickey. Mickey shrugged. Your call, Tommy. But if you do this, we set rules. Clean rules. What rules? Bruce asked. Mickey thought for a moment. Boxing ring. You can't strike to the face or body. Tommy can't either. This isn't about hurting anybody. You said this is about control? Then show control. You've got 7 seconds to, what? Take him down? Lock him up? 7 seconds, Bruce said, to make him understand. Tommy laughed again, but it sounded less certain now. All right, little man. Let's do this. But when those 7 seconds are up and you're still standing there looking stupid, you leave and don't come back. Agreed, Bruce said. They climbed into the ring. The entire gym gathered around. 15 men pressing against the ropes, leaning on the apron, craning to see. Word had somehow spread to the street outside. A few more people wandered in. The energy in the room had shifted from amusement to something else. Anticipation. Curiosity. The electric feeling that comes before moments people remember. Mickey stood at the edge of the ring with a stopwatch. 7 seconds. Starting on my mark. No strikes to the head or body. Tommy, you can defend however you want, but same rule applies. No hitting. This is about technique, not damage. Understood? Both men nodded. Tommy raised his hands in a boxer's guard, bouncing lightly on his feet. 240 pounds of muscle and bone, moving with the practiced efficiency of someone who had spent years in this ring. Bruce stood completely still. Feet shoulder-width apart. Hands at his sides. Eyes locked on Tommy's center mass. The gym was silent. Mickey raised the stopwatch. Ready, set, mark. Subscribe and leave a comment. Because the most important part of this story is still unfolding. Second 1. Bruce didn't move. Tommy shuffled forward half a step, hands still up, uncertain what to expect. The crowd watched, confused. Was Bruce frozen? Was this some kind of psychological game? Second 2. Bruce's right foot shifted 3 inches forward. So subtle that half the crowd didn't even see it. But Tommy did. His eyes flickered down for a fraction of a second. The universal mistake of focusing on the feint instead of the fighter. Second 3. Bruce's hands came up. Not into fists. Not into a guard. His right hand extended forward in a perfect Wing Chun centerline position, fingers loose, forearm angled. His left hand chambered at his ribs. The stance looked almost casual, but every man who knew fighting recognized it instantly. Perfect structure. Zero wasted tension. Second 4. Tommy threw a testing jab. Not a real punch, just a probe to see what this little man would do. Bruce's right hand moved 3 inches to the inside, redirecting Tommy's massive fist past his shoulder. The movement was so minimal it looked like Tommy had missed on his own. The crowd murmured. That was different. Second 5. Bruce stepped forward. 1 step. His front foot landed exactly between Tommy's feet, the kind of invasion of space that should have been impossible against a boxer's stance. But Bruce had moved at the exact microsecond when Tommy's weight was transferring from back to front, when his base was compromised for 1/10 of a second. Tommy's eyes widened. He tried to step back, reset his stance. Second 6. Bruce's left hand came forward in a straight line, not fast, not slow, just perfectly timed. His palm touched Tommy's solar plexus. Not a strike. A touch. And then Bruce applied pressure. Not pushing. Not hitting. Pressure. The kind of pressure that martial artists train for years to understand. The kind that doesn't move the opponent backward but disrupts their structure from within. Bruce's palm connected to Tommy's body and transmitted force through a perfect line, palm to wrist to elbow to shoulder to hip to foot to floor. Tommy's 240-pound frame went rigid. His eyes bulged. His breath stopped. Second 7. Bruce rotated his hips 3 degrees. His palm stayed connected to Tommy's solar plexus. The heavyweight's entire body lifted 2 inches off the canvas, not from raw strength, but from perfect leverage and angle. And then Bruce released. Tommy dropped. Not fell. Not collapsed. Dropped. His legs buckled and he sat down hard on the canvas, gasping for air, his face showing an expression that mixed confusion, shock, and something close to fear. The gym was silent. 7 seconds. Exactly 7 seconds. Mickey Chin looked at his stopwatch, then at Tommy sitting on the canvas, then at Bruce Lee standing over him with his hand extended not in threat but in offer. 7 seconds, Mickey said quietly. Away from the cameras, Bruce made a choice no one expected. Bruce reached down and offered his hand to Tommy. The heavyweight stared at it for a long moment, still trying to process what had just happened. His chest heaved. His mind raced. 240 pounds. Years of training. A body built to deliver and absorb punishment. And this man, this small, calm man, had dismantled him in 7 seconds without throwing a single punch. Tommy took Bruce's hand. Bruce pulled him to his feet with surprising strength. "You okay?" Bruce asked. Tommy nodded slowly, still catching his breath. What did you just do?" "I showed you that power is nothing without precision," Bruce said. "You have incredible strength. But strength without structure is just potential energy. I didn't overcome your power. I redirected it." The gym remained silent. 15 men pressed against the ropes, watching this exchange like it was scripture being written in real time. Bruce looked around at the crowd. Strength is important. Size matters. Weight matters. But they're not everything. A smaller fighter who understands angles, timing, and leverage can neutralize advantages that seem impossible to overcome. He turned back to Tommy. "You felt it, didn't you? When my hand touched your center. I wasn't pushing you. I was disrupting your root. Your foundation. A building doesn't fall because someone pushes the roof. It falls when the foundation fails." Tommy nodded slowly. The shock on his face was giving way to something else. Respect. Curiosity. Can you teach me that?" Tommy asked. But what followed would stay with everyone who witnessed it, forever. Bruce spent the next hour in that gym. Not demonstrating. Teaching. He showed Tommy how to root his stance properly, how to connect his feet to the floor with intention rather than just weight. He showed the other boxers how small adjustments in angle could double the power of their punches without adding muscle. He demonstrated how sensitivity, feeling an opponent's energy and intention, was more valuable than pure speed. The men who had laughed 7 minutes ago now sat in a circle around Bruce, listening like students who had just discovered their teacher. Mickey Chin stood in the corner, arms crossed, watching quietly. After the session ended and the fighters drifted back to their training, Mickey approached Bruce. "I owe you an apology," Mickey said. "No," Bruce replied. "You protected your gym. You didn't know me. Skepticism is healthy. That thing you did with Tommy. I've been in this game 30 years. I've never seen anything like it." Bruce smiled slightly. "You've seen it. You just didn't recognize it. Every great boxer uses these principles instinctively. I just made them conscious." Mickey pulled a business card from his pocket and handed it to Bruce. If you ever want to train fighters, my door is open. Bruce took the card. I'm not here to replace what you teach. I'm here to add to it. He turned to leave, but Tommy called out from the ring. Hey! 7 seconds. That's all it took for you to change everything I thought I knew. Bruce paused at the door. 7 seconds to demonstrate. But the real lesson took a lifetime to learn. Absorb what is useful. Reject what is useless. Add what is specifically your own. Share and subscribe. Some stories deserve to be remembered. The card Mickey gave Bruce stayed in his wallet until his death. Tommy Morrison went on to win his bout 2 weeks later, using angles and structure Bruce had taught him. He never forgot those 7 seconds. Years later, when people asked Tommy about the greatest fighter he ever faced, he never mentioned champions or title holders. He mentioned a Tuesday afternoon in August when a small man taught him that power means nothing without precision. The 7-second legend was born. And the laughter never returned.